Howdy. So we're at our country property for the day, and been working all day and never thought to grab the camera. This is going to be more of a site survey. Next week I'll bring you guys along as I drop some more trees and stuff. I mentioned that we're Airbnb in the guest cabin up above. We're also going to be adding a campsite here across the road on our property. On the right you'll see the existing road, if you want to call it that, which is very muddy. We cleared out this area over here. I gotta take these stumps down to ground, and this is going to be the new road back in. We're going to take as much of this dirt as we can get, push some of it up above a little bit higher on the trail, and dump the rest of it on our new road and then grade that out. This spot here is way drier, but it's a thorn patch, so we gotta scrape all this down. I'm getting pricked as I walk. We just dragged a couple of logs out with the ATV and a wire. And we dropped these trees a couple weeks back. Today we spent clearing the area around where we're going to build a lean-to. I mentioned in one of the videos that we're going to do a log cabin lean-to. Sorry if this is a little bit jumpy, I'm walking through a bunch of crap. So we cleared a path to get the tractor back and dropped half a dozen trees today. Cut them into 15-foot sections, give or take, and that'll be the lean-to when we're done. We're going to build it off the ground so they don't rot. And it's not an ideal wood, but you run what you brung, and what we have here is ash and poplar. We'll put the ash in the lower courses, poplar in the upper ones, and see what happens. Those forks are awesome, help moving these logs over. You can see our log pile over here on the right. Doesn't look like a log cabin yet, but right where the tractor is, we're going to put a 12 by 12 lean-to. 12 by 12 is as big as we can do without having to pull a permit, and we don't want to have our taxes go up anymore. So we got a good sized pile of firewood from these trees here too. We picked this location for a bunch of reasons. One, it's high and dry. It's wet a little bit over that way. Down below is a creek that runs through, and then the land tapers off, so it's like kind of a high spot. It doesn't ever get wet. We had it logged 15 years ago, so these old stumps are from when it was logged last. Let me walk you down and show you why I like this spot. And during hunting season, this location can be used for a hunting blind on a rainy day. I've taken a lot of deer from this spot. Right over here is one of my favorite spots to sit. Down below we have that creek that runs through. We're going to clear a little bit more of it out. We might take some gravel from the base of the creek, pull the tractor right into the creek and scoop it out, make a little bit of a swimming hole area, a little bit deeper spot, a little further down where we can actually pull the tractor right in without too much of a hassle. But it's real peaceful here. We own down the middle of this, that creek's on our property. The flat area about halfway is the property line on this side. It's a very narrow swath of land, but for deer hunting it's great. The deer come, there's a hemlock grove on the other side over there, and the deer come down there and up this way, and their natural path is right over straight ahead where that kind of mound is. They come right up and run along and then head up the hill. And from where we were before, I'm about 20 feet lower, give or take. We were thinking about going down, we call it the bowl, where at one time, obviously this creek must have oxbowed and gone to the left. And in a sense that was many, 100 years ago probably. But the worry is that anywhere down there can get wet. I mean, it doesn't flood over. I've never seen it flood over up there, but it's a spot where it could happen. So we'd prefer not to build in an area that could flood. But it's real peaceful here. It's not that far from the road. And people who tend to rent Airbnb are college kids. We've got a lot of PhD students. People who aren't real country people. But to them, this is probably about as remote as they would care to get. We'll put an outhouse somewhere up over here, bathroom place, and then we give them water with 5-gallon jugs, just like we do in the guest cabin, because it's a dry cabin. Like I said, I should have grabbed the camera earlier, but I came up a little bit late this morning. I had something going on last night. It was cold out yesterday too. Today it's absolutely gorgeous. Great day for dropping trees, especially since the canopy isn't up. Next week we'll probably finish up the felling before the canopy fills in. There's a tree straight ahead, not the one I'm walking by right now, but straight ahead that we're going to get rid of because it got some rot in the base. And we find if we cut 10 feet up or 5 feet up off the ground, there's still a lot of good wood there. We got another one straight ahead in the middle that I'm going to drop. That's got a big section of dead on the bottom. Once they get up about 6 feet high, I get a good 20-foot section of log there. There's another 2 over there. I'm going to drop this one right here, straight ahead. And then at that, we'll have enough. We'll probably already have enough wood. Now, lean-to is only 3-sided. And being 12 by 12, it's not going to be that big. Like I said, we'll put it right where the tractor is. We'll build it off the ground. I'm not sure quite how yet. Maybe on some elephant feet. Maybe on some cinder blocks. Who knows? We'll figure it out when we start building. Never built a log cabin before. So, yeah, stay tuned. Hopefully next week I'll get back down here and we can show some progress. We're not going to start construction for probably 3 weeks out. Well, this canopy is still out. Once we finish clearing this site, we'll go back on our side and see if anything needs to be come down. I like to drop all the trees I can before the canopy fills in. They don't get hung up as much. That Ellis tractor, worth its weight in gold. I'll post a picture. I didn't shoot a video of this one. We had a beech tree that was, I don't know, 2.5 feet across. That fell across one of the paths, and you could drive underneath it, but you couldn't. It was an obstacle that had to be moved. So I took the big Husqvarna saw with the 36-inch bar and cut it down into a 15-foot section and lifted that up with this no problem. Now, it was the first time I've ever felt the front end feel heavy on this. So I don't know what the weight of that log was, but yeah, it steering felt a little heavy. So that was we were probably pushing the capacity on the lift on this, which is 2,500 pounds. That was a good sized piece of wood. And it looks real clear, and you can see kind of far away. And another month from now, about 20 or 30 feet out in each direction, it'll start to fill in. And it will look like an entirely different place. So this is a fleeting moment of opportunity to walk around. That bowl area I mentioned before, we cut a path in that every year with a weed whacker with a triangle saw type blade, so we can drive the ATVs through it and get to the creek. And we'll be doing that again once it builds up, especially if we have people renting this place out. The goal here is to keep it as cheap as possible. Rent on a campsite would be like $20 a night. So if we spend $1,000, that's a lot of $20 nights. Other than fasteners and steel roof, which you put on everything, I don't really plan on buying anything. Toilet seat for the outhouse, but we're gonna keep the expenses low. And man, oh man, are the gnats thick. I don't know if they'll show up on the camera or not. But I got some citrus stuff, and it keeps them from landing on me. But they're 4 inches from my face the entire time. So when you walk forward, you walk into them. They're an awful nasty creature. Should be wiped from the earth. I'm hoping to do some more with that saw this week. On one of my first projects, I cut that first piece of steel I need to make a part for the one of the tractors, because we're going to be selling those. But I want to make a rocket stove out of some 6x6 steel tubing. So when I get it out for that, I'll get another video. When I get the coolant pump hooked up, I'll do another video for that too, and do a more in detailed, view with the camera, so you can see the how the pump action works. It's a cool little device. Little, weighs 700 pounds. But I laughed when I put it in the back of my Yukon that it was a good thing I picked up a small one. But there's a big one that's for sale on our local Craigslist that weighs 2,200 pounds. And they're not particularly expensive, but I mean, you have to have a place, it's 3-phase and bigger than I could ever possibly use. Just don't have the space for something like that. But it is really cool. Okay, that's enough rambling for today. So, until next time, thanks for watching.